Let's talk about Brickmania's German Special Forces, or SKS. So back in May of 2021, Brickmania came out with 3 different ATV mini kits, one of which is the German Special Forces mini kit. The mini kit did come out with a minifigure that eventually was released separately as a minifigure standalone in 2022. Now that minifigure that I'm going to be going over today is the German Special Forces, or the SKS minifigure. Now, to give a little backstory or information on the German Special Forces, the German Special Forces Command, or SKS, is a special forces military command of the German Army. The SKS has received decorations and awards from NATO, the United States, and its affiliate. SKS operatives have taken part in joint anti-terrorism operations, notably in the Balkans and Middle East. The unit was originally expanded in 1996 to expand Germany's limited counter-terrorism capabilities at the time. The SKS is a brigade-level unit that is stationed in Klaw. The unit is under the command of the Rapid Response Force Division and is made up of around 1,100 soldiers. Most of them serve in the Support Forces Department. Now, Brickmania also did come out with a green camouflage one years ago that I will be comparing both of them at a later time for another Friday Night Figs. Now, the minifigure is very detailed and has the accuracy as Lando does phenomenal on. He does an amazing job at making sure he gets every detail that he can on the minifigure, but staying in the Lego realm of things. Starting off with the front of the minifigure has a JBC plate carrier in a gray color, so like either dark gray or some sort of gray coloring. He also has 3 magazine pouches that are the fast magazine pouches. So it has the bungee cord over the P-mags that he'll use with the G36C, or now I believe they're using the HK 416C or D variant. At the top left of the minifigure, you can kind of see, I believe, is what would be a push to talk for his communication. So when they're in combat, he can just push and be able to talk. His torso has a combat belt, as well as attached to one of the loops on the left side would be I believe it's like a bungee cord or a rappel lanyard, something like that. I'm not exactly sure what they use those for. I would assume that it would be to attach to when they get airlifted out of combat areas, when they get on a helicopter or things like that. Now, moving to the left side of the minifigure has on his left shoulder patch a German flag to indicate him as a German Special Forces. Moving to onto his left side of his plate carrier, he has 2 magazine pouches for, I would believe they would be using the Glock style pistol, and also has what it looks like at least a admin pouch or some pouch similar to that, maybe an IFAK as well, or third version of the IFAK. The torso has the detail of the bungee cord that I was talking about from the front of the minifigure. So I believe they use that for when they're in a helicopter so they don't fall out, or whatever the case may be. Moving to the back of the minifigure, he has not a lot of equipment on the back, other than on the left side of his plate carrier, he has a radio, so that way he has comms with his unit. And on the right side, the bottom right, he has another admin pouch, so possibly maybe for generic gear that they use when they stack up to breach buildings, or whatever the mission suffices for that. Also, on the back of the arms, you can see where the padding is for his elbows, which is pretty cool detail to see. On the back of the legs, you can also see where the Velcro strap is. So when he tightens his pants, he can be able to obviously Velcro them so that there's no dirt or debris to go in. And that way they're not snagging on anything when they go over obstacles or anything like that. On the back of the fast helmet, he has another German flag. So that way people can identify him for who he is and what country he is with. Now, with the right side of the minifigure, he has another German flag patch on his right shoulder. Now, underneath his arm on the right side of his plate carrier, he has 2 grenade pouches, which is pretty cool to see that he has more equipment. Moving down to his right side of his leg, he has a holster for what I would assume is a Glock 19, a Glock 17, or a Glock style pistol. since they use Glocks in the German army most of the time. The fast helmet is a 3D printed Brickmania element, which is pretty cool to see that Brickmania has come out with these 3D printed parts to be able to give the detail that this minifigure has. The helmet does have pelletors that are printed, and it's pretty cool to see that extra detail to go into this minifigure. Now, if you remove his helmet, you can see the fast helmet straps as well as a mic that would come from the pelletors off the fast helmet. He's also wearing a baklava or something very similar to a baklava. And one thing that Lando tried to do is kind of show it as much as possible, but he has stated that it is not a nose if you look at the front of the minifigure. Although it looks like it would be a nose on a minifigure, and a lot of people compare that and debate about that a lot. Above his not nose would be the sunglasses or his eye pro to protect him from when he's riding around on the ATV or debris that may come around when they're in combat. Also, when you do remove the minifigure head, you can be able to see that Brickmania has printed BKM on the front of the minifigure, more or less what they would call spine, and on the back of that it also has a printing of a golden bow, and it says, I believe, minifigure labor. It's hard to see the detail depending on what the printing is and everything. The kit and later on the minifigure did come with a perfect caliber MG42 to make it look like the MG3 that the German army does use. So both weapons are very similar, and it's actually pretty cool to see that detail that Brickmania threw into there.